I'm Mahdi Shaheeb Sher. My website is www.mahdishaheebsher.com. I think one of my interests in the world is Russia as a war criminal in the world. It was recognized as a war criminal by the International Criminal Court. It was quite recently, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. And it did that following its war crimes in Ukraine with the Ukraine war. I think it's conducted a lot of violence against the civilian population in Ukraine, a lot of murder, violence, and a lot of other war crimes there. This was investigated by not just the International Criminal Court, but European investigators who went to Ukraine and investigated the war crimes. A lot of the global world sent in investigators and listened to kind of the concerns that came out of Ukraine, with the Ukraine war. And I think now we do have a change in the world where Russia as a big power in the world is a war criminal. It follows Libya and Iraq or something as a war criminal. So I think President Putin is a bit like Colonel Gaddafi as a war criminal, and maybe Saddam Hussein or something. So I think that it is concerning that we have a former superpower, Russia, and it's still a big power in the world. It's kind of, it has the same level of relationships with America and Europe and with other powers like Japan and maybe the smaller powers like China as well. So it is a big power, and for it to be a war criminal like Libya, I think is a very bad statement on President Putin. I think he is slightly mentally unstable, and I think he makes very unwelcome decisions and judgments based on his very aggressive outlook in the world. I think Russia is very isolationist at the moment. It has a lot of problems in the world. It always argues with the world. I think it dictates to the world. So I think Russia is very aggressive in the world at the moment. And that's why it's done things like annex Crimea, which is illegal. It's invaded Ukraine without any pretext, or call without any pretext. So it's an illegal invasion, an illegal war in that regard, because there's no pretext for war. I don't know if there was a declaration of war either. I don't think it followed the full protocols of a declaration of war. So it was quite a surprise invasion of Ukraine. And I think this illegal war in Ukraine is problematic. And I think that's one of the reasons why Russia is a problem in the world. It's also important to consider that Russia has 1 million tanks that it's recently produced with a 750 billion military budget. It produced this, I think, 10 years ago. So it has a lot of modern tanks that are kind of directed towards Europe. They're not directed at Asia or the Middle East, or perhaps even Northern Europe. I think they're mainly directed at Europe, and that could be one of the reasons why we have a Ukraine war, because Russia is very buoyant and confident with its 1 million tanks. I think it's quite ready to threaten its neighbours like Ukraine, perhaps Poland as well, and obviously Crimea, but also Romania could be a threat. And I think that Eastern Europe should be nervous about the interest or the attention that Russia is kind of focused on with Eastern Europe at the moment. What's confusing is that Europe doesn't seem to be doing much about it. It seems to be quite complacent, quite lazy as well. it doesn't seem to enter into negotiations or diplomatic efforts or diplomacy with Russia about what are you doing with these wars in Eastern Europe. That could be a problem for us, please. It doesn't seem to be asking those questions. It's the same with America as well. America seems very complacent. Russia is a traditional enemy of America, the United States of America. So I think for America to turn a blind eye and to be complacent and lazy as well, by not dealing with Russia or challenging Russia, is also testimony to the impotence of America as well. And I think this is unfortunately quite concerning as well. So we do have issues with Europe and America and how it's confronting Russia in its Ukraine war. It's been going on for 5 years now as well. So it's one of the longest Eastern European wars for the past 30 years, something. It's bigger than the Bosnia war now, and this can be checked with public information. I think it's twice the size of the Bosnia war. It's also not so much in the backwater of Europe, South Europe, in the Balkans, but it's actually it's directed at Central Europe and very much Eastern Europe, with the theatre of Poland and Ukraine and Romania. So it is a bigger war compared to Bosnia. And last time, of course, with Bosnia, we had a very heavy fallout with the Bosnia war. We had the issue of Croatia, Serbia as well, and Milosevic and things. And we had the whole contamination of ethnic cleansing and all of the war crimes tribunals and things like that. And we could see something similar with the Ukraine war, because it's kind of been very protracted and prolonged. As I said, it's gone on for 5 years now. President Putin is very committed to this war. I think he's happy for it to continue for at least another 2 years. So that would make it a very serious war, and I think that is very unfortunate to witness, and I think it's worth consideration. Thank you.